So hello everyone from Green-Mopeds in London. So today we're going to give you a static review of the new kid on the block, which is this Horwin EK3, and we're going to compare it to the current bike that everyone is choosing in the 125cc category, the Niu NQiGTS Sport and Pro. We'll just run around the features of the bike and give you some information comparing the two, and hopefully that will help you make an informed decision. So let's get to it. So Horwin, as you may know, currently in the UK just had the CR6, which is a motorbike. They're imported by Artisan, who do the, as you see, the scooters in the background, the EVC on the right, and the EV2000R, the grey one in the background, and then the Coulter behind it. So this is really their own first foray into electric mopeds, and I'd say it's quite an impressive bike. But first we'll look at the actual bike itself. So as you can see, they've gone to this sort of sleek design with some rather cool looking running lights. It almost makes the Niu's halo in comparison look a bit boring. But the lights that you see here, this is the main running light, the two lines, and then this light is actually a light that you can turn on and off, which in Europe you have to have permanent running lights, so that's what the other two are for. So this is with the main headlight on, and this is its full beam. Okay, so again, like some other bikes we are talking about at the moment, you'll be hard pressed not to see this bike coming along. It does actually also have some side lights, which we have to work out how to get going, because currently they are not working, but I think that might be a feature rather than anything wrong with the bike. As you can see, it's fairly wide, I guess, if you compare the two. Again, some quite nice lights at the back. The seat, which is actually hiding quite a cool feature, is a bit wider than the Niu. The bike is wider in total. They're about the same length, it's about 1.9 meters. The empty weight of the bike, as in without a battery, is getting on to 95 kilos. The battery, as you'll see in a minute, is quite a beast. Its all up weight that it can carry, including the bike itself, is 284 kilos. Okay, so that would be about another 180 kilos you can put on the bike. So it is possible to have a rack on it, so you could therefore think about delivery. What we've always said about bikes in general is, you know, one of your first concerns is going to be about the range, and Niu are generally providing more range, but they are not now generally providing more power and speed. So for example, this bike on the right is the Niu NQiGTS Sport. Okay, the way you can tell its nominal power is to look on the motor. See if we can see it. Yeah, so just down there, 3 kilowatts. Okay, so 3 kilowatts, there's 750 watts to 1 horsepower. So basically 3 kilowatts is 4 horsepower. Hub motor. This one, on the other hand, also has about 3.1 kilowatts nominal power, but it happens to have 6.2 kilowatts maximum power. Okay, so it's by far more than an Niu. In fact, it's more than the Super Socko CPX, which we've reviewed recently. So as of today, this is the most powerful moped around in a 125cc category. Okay, the thing about it is the price isn't that extortionate. An Niu GTS Pro, which is the one on the right with 2 batteries, 2 Panasonic batteries, that is 3596. Okay, that will give you 90 miles of range, or 80, let's say. Horwin's EK3 comes with just 1 battery, but it can take 2. But with 1 battery, it is 3,712. Okay, but its range is stated as 50, so 40-45 miles. Okay, but 60 mile an hour. the NIU is 45 miles an hour. The Super Socco CPX is 56 miles an hour. So as I say, this is now the current fastest moped that we do, and I can't think of one that's faster that we don't do. So yeah, if it's speed you want, then this is the bike for you. If it's range, then generally it's NIU, unless you put the second battery in this bike, but that is going to add a good £1,000, if not more, to the price. Okay, so that would put it into 4.7 territory, which is about the same as the CPX with 2 batteries. So as I say, if it's range you want at the expense of speed, then it would probably be an NIU. But if it's pure speed and power you want, then it's by far this one. Okay, so if we just look at the dash, it's currently this one's set up for kilometers, but as you can see, I can turn it on and off by this swiping my finger, and that's because the key fob is within 1.2 meters of the bike. Okay, it's got a rather interesting key. It's the most minimal key you can actually have. I mean, it is tiny, you could easily lose it, so I would suggest you attach it to the alarm. I'm not too sure why they have the need for it, but I guess because it can be keyless, and see, this isn't fingerprint, this is just the fact that I'm in the vicinity of the fob. Okay, that's why I'm allowed to do this. Okay, you know, nice to have, I guess. The other thing about this bike is, as I said, it has the ability to turn on, this is the main beam, and then you've also got the ability to turn on full beam and dipped. Okay, most of them wouldn't do that, they would have the actual main beam running all the time. One of my questions that I always ask, it has indicators that make noise, which is a nice change. Quite a nice looking dashboard. This is your current that you're using. You've got your trips here, and then your remaining charge on your battery, and then speed. That could be converted to miles per hour. One thing that should be aware of is that this is not a hub driven bike. This is a motor. It's probably the same motor that they've got in a CR6, to be honest, if it's the same power. So you've got a chain, which will add a little bit to the maintenance, I guess, but another advantage of it is that it makes noise. So you can put it into ready by pressing this button down here, and then you've got your 1, 2 and 3 here on the right hand side. So if you see, it makes quite a noise. Okay, I was saying that this this little illumination thing changes as you get more and more speed. Another sort of interesting little feature, but nothing too extraordinary. As you could hear, this is not a silent running bike, which some people would prefer, because you know, hub motor bikes like the NIUs and the Super Soccer CUXs, they don't make any noise, so they are quite hard to be heard. Another little thing it's got, which is sometimes a gimmick, I mean the CPX has this as well, is a reverse gear. So basically you might see that little R above 0.02 just here. So when you press and hold that button, the R comes on, and it will go obviously, as it says, backwards up to 20 kilometers an hour, which is 50 miles an hour, which would be a little bit dangerous, I would suggest. Anyway, so yeah, it's not a hub bike, it's a chain driven bike. So that's again, they're probably sharing some of the mechanics from the CR6. Another little interesting thing about it is it's got different size front and rear wheels. So again, this is not unique. The CPX does it as well. They have a large front wheel and a small back wheel. On this one, we've got a 14-inch front wheel like the NQiGT, but we've got a 13-inch back wheel. Doesn't really make any difference, it just gives more space for the seat, which I'll show you in a second. Quite big discs, ventilated discs, as you can see. That's the NIU one, and that's the Horwin one. 14-inch wheels, slightly chunkier tyres, profile-wise, on the Horwin. Tell that just by looking at the front of them like that. Under the seat, you'll be pleased to know that you can get a helmet under the seat. So this is a large open face helmet, so it will fit, which is the first bike that does that, that we do anyway. And here you see you've got the space for one extra battery, or the charger will fit in there. So while we're talking about charger, so this is the charger. It's 10 amp. Okay, so that means the charging time is 4 hours for one battery, which again is pretty good. Super Socko CPX is 3.5 hours, so, and that's with a 15 amp charger. The battery itself is rated at 72 volt, 40 amp hours. Okay, so to compare that, the Niu GTS Pro is 60 volt, 35 amp hours, and the GTS Sport, which is actually this one, is 26 amp hours, 60 volt. So it's a chunky thing, quite a substantial cable for it. It is heavy, okay, and pretty big. It's probably about 10 kilos. No, more than that, 15 kilos probably. It's also, they've also gone for this Chigori type connector, which I've been mentioning before. Horwin are standardising on this, Coulter are standardising on this. The good thing about it is that the connector, as you can from here, they clip on. So this actually clips into place, which means you get a good connection. There are some bikes that people will know where that isn't the case, and sometimes you have a bit of an issue over that. So, but as you can see, they've made it so that there's enough space for a helmet or the second battery. So other than that, some other little things about it. So you've got your bag hook, as you'd expect. In here you have your USB port for your phone. Interestingly, they've decided to use a magnet to keep this closed. Not sure why they did that. Anyway, so yeah, you've got your little cubby hole for your phone there. You can charge the bike battery through the front connector here. Obviously it's only going to charge one battery at a time if you had the second battery, so you might want to consider a second charger if you got the second battery. Otherwise you'd have to use them sequentially, and of course with only one lead you would be using them sequentially anyway. You'd physically swap the lead over. Not much else to say other than it's got CBS here at the front, so 2 leads. So that means all 125cc equivalent bikes have to have CBS. CBS means that you are braking the front wheel and the back wheel at the same time. So unlike ABS, which is the scheme where the pads are sort of released and activated, released and activated. So this is combined braking. It just applies some of the pressure to the back wheels at the same time as the front wheels. Okay, so as I said at the beginning, if it's speed and power you want, then the EK3 is currently the one leading. There are bikes coming that might change that, but not actually for sale right now. Not from Niu or Super Socko, I mean other brands. So currently, if it's power and speed you want, then this is the bike. If it's range you want, then there are other options, or you buy second batteries for this, the CPX, or take an Niu. It's available in this sort of black. There's a rather nice grey, which is similar to the artisan grey over there, like a storm grey, or a red. And as I said, 3712, it is on the OLIV grant, so you are getting the 3-year warranty on the battery and the 2-year warranty on the bike itself. I guess the only thing that is missing, or that the other bikes are pretty much standardising, is an app. So maybe, but if you really want to buy a bike with an app, then this isn't the bike for you, but I wouldn't say that's the reason to buy it, or not buy it, rather. So yeah, if we'll be trying it out in a, a ride review shortly to see how it rides, but from what I can tell so far, it's going to be quite fun. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us at hello@greenmopeds.com, and thanks very much for your time.